Most content about AI income skips the middle part. You see the outcome, the monthly numbers, the screenshot of a Gumroad dashboard showing consistent sales. But you rarely see what actually happened between day one and the first meaningful result. The confusion, the restarts, the weeks where nothing seemed to be working. And because you do not see that part, it is easy to assume that other people's paths were smoother than yours will be. That they figured it out faster. That they had something you do not. This video is about the middle part. We are going to follow one person from the moment she decided to try AI income through the moment she crossed $1,000 in a single month. Nothing is compressed. Nothing is made to look easier than it was. Just an honest account of what the first $1,000 actually required. Her name is Sandra and she is 54 years old. She spent 22 years working in corporate training, designing onboarding programs, running workshops, and helping organizations get new employees up to speed faster. She is not a tech person. She has never built a website. She does not have a social media following. What she has is deep, specific knowledge about how adults learn new skills and why most training programs fail to stick. She started exploring AI income for one reason. Her retirement projections did not feel comfortable. Not catastrophic. Just tight. And she wanted to create some breathing room without taking on more corporate work. Sandra's first move was to research tools. She spent 3 weeks learning about AI platforms, Chat, Midjourney, various automation tools. She got good at prompting. She generated content. She experimented with different formats, but none of it connected to anything. She had output. Without direction, at the end of month when she had learned a lot about AI tools and made exactly $0. This is where most people either push harder or quietly stop. Sandra did something different. She stopped working and started thinking. She asked herself a question she had not asked at the beginning. What problem do I actually understand well enough to solve for someone else? And the answer came quickly. She knew exactly why employee onboarding programs fail. She had seen it hundreds of times. She knew what worked and what did not. That was the direction. Not AI tools, her own knowledge, supported by AI tools. With a clear direction, Sandra made a decision. She would create short, practical content explaining the most common onboarding mistakes and how to fix them, not for large enterprises with HR departments, for small business owners who were handling onboarding themselves and struggling with high early turnover. She chose one platform, LinkedIn. Because her professional background meant she already had a dormant network of exactly the right people. She committed to posting 3 times per week. Short, practical, 1 idea per post. She used Chat to help structure her thinking and refine how she expressed ideas. But every insight came from her own experience. Week 1 produced 2 posts with modest engagement. Week 2 produced 3 posts and a few comments from people who recognized the problem. Week 3 produced 1 post about a specific onboarding mistake that got shared by someone with a larger network. 47 new followers arrived in a single day. Still no income. But something was happening. People were recognizing her perspective. By month 3, Sandra had posted consistently for 6 weeks. She had around 200 new followers who had found her through her content. She was getting direct messages from small business owners asking follow-up questions. The same questions kept coming up. How do I create an onboarding process when I do not have an HR background? What should I include in the first week? How do I make sure new employees actually retain what they learn? She had been answering these questions individually. Then she realized she was writing the same answers repeatedly. That was the signal. She took her most common answers and turned them into a structured guide. 30 pages. Clear, practical, step by step. Built entirely around the questions her audience was already asking. She priced it at $27. And she posted about it once. No launch sequence. No email campaign. Just a single post explaining what it was and who it was for. 3 sales in 24 hours. $81. Not $1,000. But something had worked. Someone had seen her content, trusted her perspective, and paid her for a structured version of what she had been giving away for free. Here is the part that most income stories skip. Months 4 and 5 were not dramatic. Sandra continued posting 3 times per week. She refined the guide based on buyer feedback. She answered every comment and every message. Some weeks the guide sold 3 copies. Some weeks it sold 1. One week it sold 0. Her monthly total from the product in month 4 was $189. In month 5 it was $243. Not $1,000. Not close. But she noticed something. Her content was getting more precise. Her posts were generating more engagement. The questions she was getting were more specific, which meant people were reading more carefully. The system was improving. Not because she was doing more, because she was doing the same things with better information. In month 6, Sandra made a decision that changed the trajectory. She had been getting messages from small business owners who wanted help not just with information but with actually building their onboarding process. They did not want to read a guide. They wanted someone to help them create the system. Sandra offered a simple service. She would review their current onboarding process, identify the 3 biggest gaps, and provide a structured improvement plan, delivered as a written document within 5 business days. She priced it at $297. She got her first client in week 1. Her second in week 3. By the end of month 6 she had 3 active service clients and was generating $891 per month from services alone. Combined with product sales of $312 that month, her total was $1,203. That was the month she crossed $1,000. Now let us be honest about what Sandra's first $1,000 required. It required 6 months of consistent effort alongside her full-time job. Not 6 months of intense hustle. 6 months of showing up 3 times per week and doing the next right thing. It required one significant restart. She spent a full month going in the wrong direction before she stopped and reoriented. It required uncertainty. Months where she genuinely did not know if it was working. Weeks where the numbers looked flat and the temptation to quit was real. It required specificity. The turning point was not a new tool or a new platform. It was getting specific about who she was helping and what problem she was solving. Everything improved after that clarity arrived. When asked what she would change, Sandra said 2 things. First, she would have started with a clear problem and audience before touching any tools. The month she spent learning tools without direction was not wasted exactly, but it delayed the real work by 4 weeks. Second, she would have introduced the service offer earlier. She waited until people were asking for it directly. But the signs were there in month 3. The specific questions, the direct messages, the repeat engagement. She could have offered a simple service in month 3 instead of month 6. That might have moved the $1,000 month to month 4. Sandra's path to the first $1,000 was not smooth. It was not fast. And it did not look like the income content you usually see. It looked like a person with real experience finding a specific problem worth solving, building trust slowly and consistently, and introducing offers at the right time. No dramatic breakthrough. No viral moment. No shortcut. Just a structured system applied consistently over 6 months. That is what most first $1,000 stories actually look like when the middle part is included. The question is not whether this is possible for someone like you. Sandra was 54 years old with no technical background and no existing audience. The question is whether you are willing to stay in the middle part long enough for the layers to connect. Because that is where it happens. Not at the beginning. Not at the end. In the middle. If Sandra's story sounds like where you are right now, 2 things are worth doing next. First, run your numbers in the free AI catch-up calculator in the description. It shows you exactly what a modest income system could change about your retirement timeline. It makes the goal concrete before you build toward it. Second, if you want the exact system Sandra used to go from blank page to consistent content to first product, that is the AI Content System Starter Kit. Everything in it is built for someone at your stage. No technical background required. The link is in the description.